Willow Creek wakes slow, wrapped in fog and quiet judgment. Dew clings to the sidewalks, but the stairs, they're bone-dry and sharp. I walk with my coat tugged tight around my belly, though there's no hiding it now. My pregnancy is front-page news, and not in a good way. Some people pretend not to see me. Others don't bother pretending at all. I used to love these streets. I used to feel known here. Now I feel exposed. I pass the bakery where the owner once saved me the last scone on Sundays. She turns her back before I reach the window. That hurts more than I'd like to admit. But I keep walking, because under the weight of their stares, beneath the whispers and judgment, there's a heartbeat that's not just mine anymore. This baby, he's why I'm still standing. The town thinks they know what happened. They think I'm reckless, shameless, lost. But they don't know me, not really. And before I can explain where I am now, I need to take you back. Back to the night everything changed. The night that made me feel powerful. The night that gave me a reason to fight. 6 months earlier, laughter danced through my apartment, soft jazz curling in the background like a secret. Jason grinned from the couch, white, wild, all charm and confidence. Marcus leaned against the counter, black, soft-eyed, and still. He didn't have to say much. His presence spoke louder than words ever could. That night wasn't planned. There was no script, no rules, only heat, only instinct. We drank, we danced, we flirted like the world would end before sunrise. And when the space between us disappeared, none of us stopped it. What followed wasn't chaos. It was connection. It was freedom. The kind I hadn't felt in years. Their attention, their desire, it wrapped around me like silk. For one night, I wasn't grieving, doubting, or bracing myself. I was adored, and I let myself be. I let go. And I did. I woke the next morning tangled in sheets and silence. The 2 men were gone. My apartment was still. My heart was not. I didn't think about consequences. I only thought, for one brief, burning moment, I was a queen. It never crossed my mind that royalty could come with such a steep price. I wish the glow had lasted longer. But life doesn't let you savor fire before it burns everything down. The glow didn't fade. It curdled. At first, just whispers. At the market. Outside the clinic. Then came the stairs. Lingering. Unapologetic. And finally, the paper. I sat in a corner booth at Willow Creek Diner, heart hammering as the morning paper trembled in my hands. The headline screamed louder than anyone in town needed to. Local woman scandal shocks town below it. A photo, me at the farmer's market, smiling, holding a basket of pears. Someone had snapped it without my knowing. Now it sat under a headline, like I was some tabloid train wreck. The coffee in front of me was cold. I hadn't taken a sip. Across the room, Mrs. Harris whispered without whispering. She doesn't even know who the father is, she hissed to her little circle. 2 men, 1 night. That baby should be a secret, not a spectacle. They nodded like they were in church, holy in their hypocrisy. My phone buzzed. Lila, you're stronger than their words. I wanted to believe her. I really did. But sitting there, spotlighted and dissected, I didn't feel strong. I felt like glass, clear enough to see through, fragile enough to break. And the town, it wasn't done breaking me yet. That afternoon, I walked through the square with my grocery bag clutched like armor. Church banners waved overhead. Faith, family, forgiveness. What a joke. I tried to keep my head up. But every pair of eyes felt like a slap. A group of teens leaned near the fountain. As I passed, one nudged the other. She's gonna sue both of them, he snickered. Bet she wanted a baby paycheck. She planned it, the other added. Probably picked the richer one. I stopped. Turned. They didn't expect me to speak. You think I planned this? My voice didn't tremble. You don't know a damn thing about me, so don't pretend you do. They blinked, shuffled back. One muttered crazy under his breath. But they walked away. I didn't. I stood there for a moment longer, letting the sting of their words roll off me like rain that hadn't quite turned to hail. Then I placed my hand on my belly. A small kick met my palm, steady, reassuring. That tiny movement reminded me I didn't owe anyone an explanation, not the paper, not Mrs. Harris, not a couple of cowardly teens. I turned and kept walking. Because I wasn't fighting for reputation, I was fighting for the one person who couldn't speak for themselves yet. And that was reason enough. The lawyer's office smelled like old paper and older secrets. Mr. Collins didn't look up when I walked in, just tapped a pen against a folder labeled with my name. He finally glanced at me. Jason and Marcus both deny paternity. Paternity tests take time. You need to file for support against one of them, soon. I'm not here for their money, I said. He gave a humorless chuckle. Then you're the only one in this town who believes that. I just want the truth, for my child. Mr. Collins folded his hands, leaning forward. That's noble. But court doesn't care about feelings. It cares about facts, strategy. Pick a name, or the whole case falls apart. He slid 2 folders across the desk, one for Jason, one for Marcus. I stared at them. Jason's grin flashed in my mind, reckless and magnetic. Marcus's quiet depth, the way he seemed to really see me. Neither had called, not once. I don't know which one it is, I admitted. Doesn't matter, he said. Pick the one more likely to pay. I pushed the folders back. My baby's not a paycheck. He raised an eyebrow but said nothing. I walked out without a plan, but with something better. Conviction. The next week, the church hosted a healing meeting, a chance, they said, for the town to gather and reflect. The sanctuary buzzed as I slipped into the back. Pews full, faces forward, but not friendly. Pastor Thomas stood at the front, his voice measured, calm. We are not here to cast stones. We are here to seek understanding. The murmurs quieted. Then Mrs. Harris stood, lips tight, voice sharp. Understanding? She's a sinner, plain and simple. 2 men, 1 baby, and now she wants a court to clean up her mess. A few people nodded. I felt the heat rise in my chest, but I didn't run. I stood. You talk like I'm trash, I said. Like you've never made a mistake. But I've seen how this town works. Your son's DUI? Covered up. The motel you sneak off to? Everyone knows. The air turned heavy. Mrs. Harris's face drained of color. Others turned away. Pastor Thomas raised a hand, his voice firm now. Let he who is without sin cast the first stone. No one moved. I sat down slowly, heart thudding but steady. For the first time, the shame didn't stick. Because I'd said the truth out loud. And I hadn't crumbled. The church emptied slowly, like a crowd unsure how to process what they'd just witnessed. No one said anything to me on the way out. But some looked at me differently, not with sympathy, not even with agreement, just less certainty. As if I was no longer the town's walking cautionary tale. Outside, the night air was cool and honest. Lila waited for me near the steps, arms folded, eyes wide with pride. You okay? She asked. I think I am, I said. I didn't think I'd be able to speak like that, but once I started. You didn't stop. I smiled. We walked in silence through the square. My hand instinctively rested on my belly. The baby kicked, as if reminding me who I was doing this for. I paused at the corner, looking back at the glowing church windows. They tried to bury me in shame, I said quietly. But maybe they just planted me. Lila nudged me gently. Told you, you're stronger than their words. For the first time in weeks, I believed her. Because there was something burning inside me now. And it wasn't shame. It was fire. I stared at the 2 envelopes on my kitchen table like they might explode. Jason, Marcus, 2 potential fathers, 2 unopened paths I didn't want to walk. Lila sat across from me, folding baby socks with soft precision. The apartment was quiet except for the hum of the fridge and the clock ticking louder than usual. You don't have to rush, she said gently. I'm not rushing. I'm deciding. But do you want either of them involved? The question hung heavy. Jason had passion but no roots. Marcus had depth but no follow-through. Neither had checked in since the whispers started. Neither had asked if I was okay. But this wasn't about them. It was about the child growing inside me, about their future, their story, their name. I don't want to guess, I said. They deserve to know the truth. I picked up a pen, hesitated, then signed both forms. I'll let science decide. Lila nodded, her eyes soft. Whatever comes, you won't face it alone. A breeze pushed through the cracked window, lifting the corner of one envelope like a wink from fate. I didn't know what truth the test would bring, but for the first time, I felt ready to face it. The courthouse looked like a stone giant that had been waiting years to swallow me whole. News vans idled near the curb. Reporters leaned out, angling for a shot. Someone snapped a photo as I stepped out of Lila's car, adjusting my coat over my belly. I didn't flinch. Jason stood by the fountain, arms crossed. Marcus leaned against a pillar, eyes down. Neither looked at me. Neither came close. Inside, the marble hallway echoed with shuffling feet and murmured gossip. She's taking them both to court? Probably wants child support from whoever's got deeper pockets. I tuned them out. In the courtroom, the judge was an older black woman with silver hair and a stare like steel. She scanned the paperwork, then looked at me. You've listed 2 possible fathers. What exactly are you asking this court to do? I stood, heart racing, but my voice didn't shake. I'm not here for money. I'm here for truth. My child deserves to know who they are. That's all I want. For a moment, no one spoke. Then the judge nodded. Request for paternity testing is granted. Both men will be notified. I sat back down, exhaling for what felt like the first time that day. The circus had begun. But I wasn't the act. I was the ringmaster now. That night, the apartment was a cradle of quiet. No cameras, no courthouse. Just me, Lila, and a pile of baby clothes, soft enough to make me cry if I let myself. She folded a tiny onesie, smiling gently. You handled today like a damn queen. I didn't feel like one. You still were. I sank into the couch, hand resting on my stomach. My body ached from the day, but more than that, my heart ached from months of carrying this alone. I thought knowing the father would fix everything, I said. And now? Now, I'm not sure it matters as much as I thought. Lila didn't argue. She just nodded. The truth will matter one day, I added. But right now, he just needs me. I looked toward the nursery corner we'd started. Half-built crib, unopened diapers, a framed sonogram. A soft kick met my palm. My child, still nameless, still so wanted. I closed my eyes and breathed it in. Maybe I wouldn't get a picture-perfect ending, but piece by piece, peace was building inside me. I wasn't whole yet, but I was getting there. The envelope came on a Thursday. No knock, no drama, just a soft thud in the mailbox like any other letter. But it wasn't any letter. It was the answer. I brought it inside, placed it on the table, and stared. Jason or Marcus. One name, one truth, one piece of paper that could change everything or nothing. Lila glanced over as she brewed tea. You gonna open it? Not yet. You want me to do it? No. I picked it up, feeling its weight in my hand. So small, considering the months of turmoil behind it. My breath caught in my throat. 2 minutes passed. Then 5. I thought I'd want to know the second it arrived, I said. You still can. But I'm not sure it matters anymore. I looked at the crib we'd finished building just the night before. I looked at the stack of folded onesies, the little bear with the fraying ear, the soft hum of lullaby music I'd started playing every evening. And I looked at my belly, already shifting beneath my hand. I'll know when I'm ready, I said, placing the envelope in a drawer. For now, I knew all I needed. He was mine, and I was his. The festival returned like it always did. Tables, banners, music. But this time, it felt different. Maybe because I was different. I stood beneath the church archway, arranging sunflowers in a vase, 8 months pregnant and moving slower but still moving. The church lawn buzzed with life, kids racing past pies, elders rocking in folding chairs, gospel floating from the stage like sunlight. And then I saw her, Mrs. Harris, alone, no posse, no whispers, just her, holding a paper cup of sweet tea, watching me. She walked over slowly, eyes lowered, voice low. "I was wrong," she said, "about you, about a lot of things." I paused, unsure if I believed her. "I judged you because, well, it was easier than dealing with my own guilt." She looked up. "Can you forgive me?" I didn't answer right away, just kept placing the flowers. Then, "I'm not holding on to hate. It's too heavy," she nodded, eyes misty. "Thank you." From the steps, Pastor Thomas watched, nodding gently. Forgiveness didn't mean forgetting, but in that moment, something in me let go. The town wasn't healed. Not yet, but it was shifting. And maybe, just maybe, so was I. The sun was high over Willow Creek, casting gold across folding chairs, cotton candy, and rustling church banners. The Festival of Faith looked like a postcard. Families laughing, kids playing tag, old folks clapping to the rhythm of a church band. And there I was, in the middle of it all, not hidden, not whispered about, present. Lila tugged me toward the food tents, her arms full of flyers and fried pies. I waddled after her, one hand under my belly, the other shading my eyes. Jason stood near the lemonade booth, chatting with someone I didn't recognize. Marcus sat alone beneath a tree, quietly observing. Neither had spoken to me yet, but they hadn't avoided me either. That was something. A little girl skipped up to me, maybe 6 years old, curls bouncing with every step. She held out a daisy. "For your baby," she said, then darted away. I smiled, tucking the flower behind my ear. All around me, people I'd once feared were watching again. But this time with curiosity, not cruelty. It wasn't redemption, not yet, but it was warmth. And in this town, warmth had been in short supply. So I let it reach me, just a little. And for the first time, I let myself enjoy it. 3 months later, on a warm afternoon that smelled like early autumn, I stood by the same apartment window where the daisy had wilted and crumbled weeks ago. His face, so small and full of peace, felt like a new chapter wrapped in skin. I looked at the drawer. The envelope was still there, still unopened, still waiting. I'd thought about it 100 times, wondered which name it held, wondered what I'd do when I finally knew. But every time I held my son, the question seemed smaller. Not irrelevant, just less urgent. Maybe one day he'd ask, maybe he'd need to know. And when that day came, I'd be honest. But for now, he had everything he needed. Love, safety, me. I kissed his forehead and whispered, "You don't need a man's name to be whole. You're already complete." The photo from the festival sat on the shelf, me with a daisy in my hair, surrounded by people who once doubted me. Now some wave when we pass on the street. Some even smile. The story hasn't ended, but it has changed. Because I no longer move in shame. I move with purpose. And my son? He'll grow up knowing what strength looks like. 1 year later, Willow Creek still looks the same. Same crooked sidewalk cracks. Same peeling paint on the pharmacy sign. Same gossip waiting to bloom at every corner. But something in the air has shifted. People still remember, but fewer of them whisper. I walk through town with my son balanced on my hip. He's heavier now, bright-eyed, full of giggles and wonder. He points at every dog, waves at every passerby. And some wave back. A mural covers the pharmacy wall now. Bright colors, outstretched hands, sunflowers, and a mother holding a child. Someone painted hope, and someone had the grace to paint us. We pass the diner. Mrs. Harris watches from inside. She gives me a short nod. I return it. That's all we need. At the church, Lila greets us with a smile and a flyer. Pastor Thomas is stacking chairs, his robe fluttering in the wind. They ask how we're doing, not out of politeness, but out of care. I no longer carry the envelope. It's in a box, tucked behind baby shoes and old sonograms. I'll open it one day maybe, or maybe he will. But not now, because I already know the most important part of the story. He's mine, and I'm his. And this town? It's learning, just like I did.